After months of relentless rain and surging waves, a profound hush settled over the ark. Every plank of wood seemed to sigh in relief as the world outside began to breathe again. Dim light filtered through the narrow window, casting a flicker of hope across the damp faces of Noah's family. For the first time since the flood began, they dared to imagine a sky unbroken by storm clouds. In that moment, the promise of dry land felt almost tangible. On the 151st day, as the family held their collective breath, a gentle breeze stirred the stale air inside the ark. They felt it first as a whisper, then as a steady wind crossing the waters. God had remembered Noah, and with that remembrance came the quiet retreat of the flood. Inside, hearts pounded with cautious joy, each gust carrying the scent of a world slowly reclaiming itself. The arc of rain ended, the fountains of the deep stilled, and the windows of heaven were finally closed. By the 17th day of the 7th month, the ark grounded itself with a muted thud upon the rugged slopes of Mount Ararat. Families clung together, listening to the strain of timbers warping under new stability. Outside, water beats on wood transformed into slow drips as the floodwaters abated. Through the small window, peaks of stone peaked above the endless expanse of water-silent sentinels, signaling the end of their long voyage. That night, gratitude mingled with awe, for at last the ark had come to rest. 40 days later, Noah pressed aside the wooden shutter and lowered a raven into the open sky. Dark wings beat against the pale horizon as the bird ascended into the endless blue. Inside the ark, watchers strained to see its fate, but the raven never returned. Instead, it circled endlessly, feeding on the carrion that floated atop the swampy surface. It served as a solemn reminder that nature would reclaim the earth in its own time, not on human terms. Convinced the earth was nearing readiness, Noah sent forth a dove. For days, they watched as it dipped toward distant shores, then flitted back to the ark's teeny feet, finding no perch on the water's mirror. Disappointed but undeterred, Noah waited 7 more days before sending it out again. At dusk, the bird returned, bearing an olive leaf, its emerald sprig, a fragile banner of rebirth. 7 days later, he released the dove a third time and never saw it wing back again. As the 601st year unfolded and the first month's dawn, Noah ventured to remove the ark's cover. He peered out and saw the bare face of the earth, dry and waiting. 2 months later, on the 27th day of the 2nd month, every ridge and valley stood free of water. The horizon no longer shimmered with waves, but with jagged stone and new green shoots pushing through blackened soil. Each patch of uncovered land felt like an invitation to begin anew. God's voice called to Noah from the ark's threshold, bidding him, his family, and every creature to emerge. Noah, his wife, sons, and their wives stepped onto solid ground, hearts pounding with wonder. Lions and lambs, serpents and sparrows all, led by pairs, flowed down the ark's ramp. Every creature moved with cautious eagerness, noses pressed skyward, tasting their first breath of fresh air. The world felt impossibly vast, each footstep a declaration that life had triumphed over the deluge. On the newly revealed earth, Noah built an altar of rough-hewn stones. He selected the finest of his clean beasts and birds and offered them in smoke and prayer. Therein, the sweet aroma rose until it merged with the morning mist, and God breathed the promise into the new world. From that day forward, the ground would no longer be cursed for humanity's sake. Seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night would never cease a covenant as steadfast as the arc of the rainbow yet to shine. With each passing season, the memory of the flood softened like footprints erased by the tide. Yet the promise endured in every budding leaf and harvest field. Noah's family carried forward a legacy of faith and stewardship, mindful that the earth, once washed clean, depended on them to honor its fragile beauty. And in the stillness between sunrise and dusk, One could almost hear the whisper of that first breeze, the echo of a covenant written across sky and soil. If you liked this video, please give a like and subscribe. God bless.